Stock motorcycles out of the factory are pretty damn good these days, but as motorcyclists, we can't keep our damn fingers off them and make them our own. So in today's video, I thought I'd break down what I think are the first 3 modifications you need to make to your motorcycle. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Motor Barista channel. Do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button below, give this video a thumbs up, and we're going to talk about 3 modifications you can make to your motorcycle. Now, to prelude this, manufacturers have one really big challenge, and that's making a stock motorcycle that can fit all kinds of customers. We need to fit short people, tall people, heavier people, lighter people. We need to fit males and females. It needs to be something that can work for a big range of an audience. So it means when it comes down to the final components, particularly the parts that affect ergonomics on the bike, they're going to be a kind of a one-size-fits-most approach. I like to start off in this ergonomic area when it comes to making those first modifications so I can make the bike really fit me, my body, and my riding style. One of the first things I look to always change on a motorcycle, regardless of whether it's an adventure bike, a street bike, a dirt bike, a Harley, it doesn't matter, are the handlebars. This is obviously an all-road bike. It needs to be comfortable on the street for touring, and of course, great off-road. For me personally, I wanted to make this bike more off-road focused. And I personally believe that the stock handlebars that came on this bike were more street focused. They sat a little bit lower and they had quite a little bit of sweep. What that meant was that it was quite comfortable out on the road. It meant my elbows could tuck in and come close to the body and drop low, and it had my wrists just turn out a little bit as well. That's not what I want for off-road. So instead, what I've gone for is a Renthal fat bar, and this is the RC High Bend. It reduces the sweep, creates a flatter bar, and it also adds some rise, which allows me to have a more comfortable position when riding off-road and allow my elbows to be in a more aggressive riding position. This really works for me. Of course, depending on your height and your riding style, you need to find a bar that's going to suit you. Okay, recommendation number 2 is your seat. Again, this is something I change on every motorcycle that I've had, whether it's a dirt bike, a street bike, or a Harley Davidson, or my adventure bike now. Once again, the seat falls into a category that it needs to fit well for most. And personally, I think manufacturers miss the mark most of the time. One thing that manufacturers try to achieve from their seat is something that feels soft and plush when you're sitting on the bike in a showroom. And that, of course, is not real-world riding experience. Personally, for me, I prefer a harder, more dense foam. I just find it gives me more support when I'm riding, particularly aggressively off-road, but also long-distance riding. I like to have a harder, firmer seat, as I find it gives me longer lasting support on those big rides. When you have a softer seat, I find that you kind of sink into it more as that ride goes on. And what that does, it causes pressure points to build up and even heat spots. And obviously that's going to be uncomfortable long distance. Firmer foam provides an even support, distributes the weight far more effectively, and reduces those hot spots. This is just my preference, but yeah, have a look into some firmer seats. What I've gone for here is the KTM rally seat. When I'm riding off-road, I like to slide forward, slide back with ease, and having a nice flat bench seat is the best way, of course, to do that. Now, the downside of this seat, of course, is that it can be very uncomfortable for long distance highway riding. Fortunately, I'm pretty light, I'm pretty fit, so I can kind of deal with an uncomfortable riding position for longer than most. That's the sacrifice I have to pay to have the seat that I want when I'm riding off-road. If I was focusing on building a really comfort-focused touring bike, obviously this wouldn't be the seat that I choose. But for my needs, this is what I need. Like I said, when I get a new motorcycle, the seat is one of the first things that has to be swapped out. Last but certainly not least, modification number 3. This one's a little bit more open. It kind of depends on the bike that you've got and what needs attention first. But sticking to the world of ergonomics, it kind of comes down to the final controls, hand controls and foot controls. And it depends on what your bike comes with stock. Some bikes come with really beautiful levers stock with good adjustability, so they're things that you don't have to change. What I needed urgent attention on was my foot controls, and it wasn't actually the levers themselves, but the foot pegs. The foot pegs that come with this bike are a little bit narrow And they've got the rubber inserts as well. So instead I swapped them out for a rally foot peg. It's a little bit wider and has a sharper bite to it on the actual peg itself, so it provides me with more grip. Just the little things that can improve ergonomics, such as the foot pegs or better brake and clutch levers, even something like a better brake pad on your rear brake, hand grips. These little things, these things that we come in contact with whilst riding the motorcycle the whole time, these really improve our riding experience, both in terms of the enjoyment, but also how well we can ride that motorcycle. And again, it doesn't have to be all about performance. We could make these decisions based on comfort and touring. But the first thing I always recommend when looking at making those modifications is looking at your ergonomics. Tailor that bike to suit you, your body, your riding preferences, and how you really want to enjoy the motorcycle as a whole. Now, once we've got those things dialed in and we're happy with the ergonomics, we can have a little bonus modification, can't we? We can have a little bit of fun with the bike. And I always think it has to be the exhaust. Okay, so this is a bit of a bonus modification. After the whole bike's set up ergonomically for you, it's time to have a bit of fun, and we want to splash out on something a little bit fancy. And I always think that throwing an exhaust on a bike is a bit of a must do in today's world. The bikes that come out of the factory, of course, are hit with so many emission regulations that it makes all motorcycles sound like heavy-duty vacuum cleaners. This is the Yoshimura RS4 slip-on muffler for this KTM 790. Now, I've been wanting this pipe for quite a while, but with COVID and everything, it's just been a bit of a nightmare to get over the last year. But finally, it's on the bike, and I think it looks beautiful. It's got beautiful carbon fiber accents and protection, which I've already scuffed up from before, but I just think it's a beautiful pipe, and I love Yoshimura as a brand. What this pipe does, of course, is really just give it a little bit more of a deep throaty sound, so it makes me know that I'm riding a real motorcycle machine and not a souped up vacuum cleaner. Not only that, but the pipe claims to deliver a little bit extra in performance, but where I really notice it is actually just the smoothness of the throttle response and the smoothness of the power delivery after adding this pipe. So that's my little bonus. I believe every bike needs to have a pipe, and that's just my opinion. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my 3 must-have modifications to make first to your motorcycle. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. Let me know in the comments below what the first modifications you make to your motorcycles are. And as always, ride safe, and I'll catch you on the next video.